All right, this Infinity here perfectly illustrates the difference between going to a dealership and just getting the codes retrieved and having them suggest some work and doing real diagnostic work. Now, this car is flagging a code for misfires, specifically cylinder number 3, but it also had some misfires on 1 and 5. Now, the way this one's set up is 1, 3, and 5 in the back and 2, 4, and 6 in the front. Well, if we wanted to put new plugs in it, so 2, 4, and 6 are pretty easy to access, but 1, 3, and 5 are under the intake. So it's about a 5-hour job to replace the spark plugs or the fuel injectors, anything. It's all under the intake. So we need to determine exactly what's wrong instead of just guessing and throwing parts at it. So I need to do a compression test. But again, I can check the front, but not the back. I can't really get to the back without removing the intake. So how do we do this? Well, the best way to do it is with a good oscilloscope. Pico is absolutely the best on the market, and these are tools that they generally don't have at the dealerships. Dealerships have scan tools, but they typically don't do any real diagnostic work. They would rather just pull the codes, put the parts on it, and if they get it right 80% of the time, they're happy with that and they move on. So what I've done here is a relative compression test. It's not an actual compression test. It's relative, meaning we are checking the compression of each cylinder relative to the other cylinder. So the blue line here that's our relative compression. We're using a high amp current probe, seeing how much current it takes to compress that cylinder. And the red trace is our sync. That is, I currently have it synced to cylinder number 2. I chose number 2 because it was the easiest one to access. And so and the firing order on this car is very easy. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's very simple. So if we start right here, and we know that this is number 2 because that sync shows me it's number 2. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 looks a little bit odd. Now, if you notice, it's just not quite the same as the others. It doesn't come down as far. Something about it doesn't look right. And then we start over at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 6 looks different than the others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that one looks almost normal. 5 actually may be slightly low on that one, but it's a one of, so I wouldn't put too much faith in that. I would just, what we're looking for is repeatability here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Finally, 6 on almost every time looks bad. But the misfire, according to the scanner, according to the scan tool, it says the misfire is on cylinder number 3, not 6. Well, if you look at the firing order, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 and 6 are companion cylinders, meaning those two cylinders come up and go down at the same time. They are opposite in the on the crank in the firing order. They're completely opposite. So if you have a problem with, say, a valve on number 6, it can affect how the number 3 cylinder fires. So I need to do some more testing here, but I suspect at this point the problem is actually with number 6 and not number 3, and it's probably some type of valve train problem.